Hey, Accelerated Algebra, make sure you've tried this once already on your own and you have your workout in front of you, and now you can make corrections. After you watch the video, go back and take it again. Make sure you get 100%. Take really good notes during this whole process, because on your final progress check on Wednesday the 20th, you're going to be allowed to use those notes. Okay, this first question, we're simplifying this square root. So remember, I always break it up into the perfect square part and the kind of leftover part. And then we take the square root of the stuff we can, and we leave the other stuff under the square root. Okay, so now remember, this works just like all sorts of function transformations. You just have to remember that when you go to the right, that's actually going to be this x minus 4 under the square root. And then up 2 is just the plus 2. To go left, we would have a plus 4 here. To simplify this expression, you're first going to have to simplify this root 50. So 50 can be written as 25 times 2. So I've got 4 times 5 root 2. And when now I can see that I have like terms, 6 root 2 plus 20 root 2, 26 root 2. So when we want to rationalize here, we want to multiply by the conjugate. So remember, the reason why we do that is because it gets rid of our square root in the denominator, called rationalizing the denominator. So here I'm going to end with 1 squared minus the square root of 3 squared. And on the top, 2 minus 2 root 3. So when we simplify further, this denominator just becomes negative 2. Now I can simplify one more step because everything is divisible by 2. Okay, we're going to use our trick of squaring both sides. Now I've got a quadratic, so I'm going to solve this by setting it equal to 0. I can factor out a GCF. Ooh, that's just a difference of squares. So it seems like I have two solutions, but I need to plug in and see if they actually work. This one I can already tell is not going to work because I can't have something under the square root equaling a negative number. So I know that's going to be an extraneous solution. X equals 4 does work, so I know that this is my only real solution, x equals 4, and x equals negative 4 was extraneous. So for this one, you've got to pay attention to what is given to you here. We've got a lateral surface area. And so the lateral surface area is just this outside part of the cone, not the circle on the bottom, just in case you were wondering what that meant. So we've got the lateral surface area is 121 and the radius is 3. So I need to plug those in the right places. The S is the lateral surface area. Whenever I see an R, I'm going to put a 3. Now to solve this, I want to isolate that square root. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3 pi. And then I want to square both sides. To get rid of the square root, I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. And now that's an h squared, so now I've got to take the square root of both sides. I don't have to worry about a negative answer because I know that height has to be positive. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my calculator all at once, being really careful about my parentheses. If I round to the nearest tenth, I get 12.5. All right, Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'll let that be my a, that be my b, and that be my c. If you did a and b the other order, that's fine, as long as you got the diagonal being c. Okay, this says rounded to the nearest whole foot, so I need to make sure I do that. 98 feet. All right, which of the following could be a right triangle? So remember, if this is going to work, so for instance, for letter A, if I've got 5 squared plus 6 squared equals 11 squared, then I know it's a right triangle. For this one, that's definitely not true, so that's not a right triangle. 5 squared plus 6 squared is not going to be 7 squared either, so that's no good, that's no good. Definitely not that one. Let's check B and make sure it really works. It does. So B is the right triangle. Okay, for this one, this ladder is the hypotenuse, so make sure that was your C side. I'll let that be my A side, and I'm going to find my B side. So I've got 12 squared plus b squared equals 13 squared. This is a really common Pythagorean triple, but let's go ahead and do the solving just in case you don't know it. All right, last one. So this is an isosceles triangle. So what you can know is this height is actually going to bisect here. So this is going to be 6 centimeters. So I can figure out that the height is 8 centimeters, and then I know the area is always 1/2 base times height for a triangle, so that's going to be 1/2. The base is 12, and now I know the height is 8. So that's going to give me 48 centimeters squared. I'm just going to put the 48 here because it already says square centimeters. Awesome, that's it for today. Go ahead and do your second attempt, and like I said, make sure you're keeping your notes for your final progress check.